Thanks for joining today's broadcast. Today we're going to be taking a look at quick and easy payment collections in Microsoft Dynamics SL via Catalina technology. Let's get started. A little bit about SIS. We were founded in 1996 and we're just outside the Atlanta metro area. We deliver business solutions that help project and service-driven companies unify business processes and applications across the enterprise, thus delivering better visibility and efficiency. SIS has a wide range of services including current state assessment, business process analysis, requirements and fit gap analysis, software design, development and deployment, custom application development, ERP and CRM implementation, rapid deployments for hub and spoke rollouts, and on-premise or cloud deployments, depending on your preference. A little bit of general information about today's webinar. If you have any issues with audio or sound or video, just email us at info@sisn.com. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end, but if you think of any questions in the meantime, go ahead and type those into the chat. For optimal viewing, please view in full screen mode. And we're going to be recording this webinar and sending you out an email later today or first thing tomorrow morning with a link to watch that recording and to the presentation. Today our presenter is Brian Wharton with Catalina Technology. He's the president and founder, and I'd like to go ahead and hand it off to him.
Thanks, Eric. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can show my screen real quick and pull up my slideshows. And as Eric had said, my name is Brian Wharton. I'm the founder and president of Catalina Technology. We've been around since 2000, and we've been working with SIS since about that long as well. What we do is a variety of things, but mostly they're geared around integration with Dynamics SL. We have something that we'll show you today, which is going to be online bill payment, in particular our Quick Collect solution. But we also have an online bill payment portal as well, where customers can log in and look at their statement, be able to pay invoices, and look at what's going on in their account. We also have an e-commerce shopping cart for Dynamics SL. We've done a lot of work in IoT or Internet of Things integration back into SL, whether it's creating service calls from devices that notice that, say, there's flooding or overheating or vibrations in an HVAC system, things like that. We also do a lot of custom system integration development, and that's because of our comprehensive web API for Dynamics SL. So we sell an API for Dynamics SL that allows you to integrate many different third-party and custom solutions for CRM, like say Dynamics CRM and Salesforce, or help desk and support systems, time and expense, AP integration with products like Coupa, 3PL integration, EDI replacement, ADP, and all that kind of stuff. So it allows folks to be able to do lots of integration into SL, and we use our own API as well for developing our own tools. So what I'm going to show today is our what we call Quick Collect, and what this allows you to do is easily send out payment requests for being able to try to collect either on an invoice or being able to collect just a payment against an account. And what this does is it gives you a low barrier of entry to allow your customers to pay you. Basically, a link goes out to them either through email or SMS messaging, and they can just click on it, and they don't need a password or a login, don't need to worry about some kind of login to a portal. They just go ahead and make a payment, and it automatically flows back into SL once that payment's authorized. It's also PCI compliant, which means that we minimize your PCI exposure by offloading that into a PCI compliant payment processing solution, so that you don't have to worry about that. You never have any kind of exposure to credit cards or bank information or any of that type of stuff. One other thing to note is that not only can we take credit cards, but we can also do ACH type e-checks. So if a customer wants to be able to make a payment, they can certainly make a payment either via credit card or through an e-check, depending on how you want that set up. So with that, I'm just going to go straight into a demo, and let's see what we can do. So first, let me get out of this, and I'm going to bring up my trusty SL screen. And there's several ways that we can send out payment requests in Quick Collect, and they're all very customizable. Folks like SIS can implement this also as well by what I'm going to show first is how to send out a Quick Collect link from just say the invoice and memo screen. It could be from any screen you want. I just added a little button here that sends out a link. So I'm going to go and look up a batch, and let's see, let's do this one. And so I've got a batch here and an invoice that is for $12.93 is requested for payment. So, and I've got line items and all that. So all I've got to do is simply just go onto the screen and hit send quick link or quick collect link, and it just automatically sends it as fast as that. And let me go ahead and bring up my email. And it might take a few seconds for the message to get to my email. I'm just in Outlook, but basically what I had is an email tied to that customer, and this is all customizable, so you can do whatever you want. And oh, there it is. And so what that email will then do is it'll send that send a link to my account that has an email address tied to it. Let me go and put that in white. Now this screen here, this is just an email template that is completely customizable. So we can put logos, we can go ahead and embed all types of information in here. And all the customer has to do is just click on this make payment link, and it'll just go ahead and bring up a payment page. So I don't need to know any kind of login. I don't need to know a password, any of that type of thing. And now I'm on a web page that is hosted by a web server that then shows information. This is all customizable, so you can change everything here that you want, including all kinds of custom information, customer information. But based on this link that got sent, this link knows what's supposed to be paid, and all I've got to do is hit pay, and it'll allow me to go and walk through that. So now what I'm presented with is a PCI compliant payment page. So this information right here, and I've got a little kind of border around this, and this is not even sitting on the server that this page is sitting at. This is sitting in a cloud-based PCI compliant solution that never exposes you to the credit card information or banking information out there. I can go ahead and also even save credit cards if I wanted to. And again, it's not being saved in your servers, but it's being saved on this PCI compliant hosted solution. I can enter in my another credit card if I want to, and 22, 1, 2, 3. I could save this card for future use, make it a default card, because Catalina also has a payment portal and a way to go ahead and do recurring billing as well. So I could save this card and actually have it used for recurring billing. But in this case, I don't want to save this. I'm just going to go ahead and make a payment. We also are capturing a different additional information that allows us to capture level 2 and level 3 payment processing information. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to lower your cost for transaction costs on these. So the more information that we can capture, the better it is for you on your transaction fees. So we can capture billing information, shipping information, all of this information can go to the payment processor. The payment processor then lowers the risk of this kind of payment, and which means that you get savings on that transaction cost. So now I've got this $12.93, and I'm just going to hit process transaction. And so what this is doing is this is authorizing the payment, and it's making an actual sale, so that authorization will go ahead and authorize and create the sale. So now if I go back into SL and I go into, let's see, payment application, and I go and pop that up, there's my $12.93 is already there. So I haven't had to do any kind of rekeying or anything like that. Once we get an authorization, we can then go ahead and apply that payment directly into SL in the payment application screen, based on that invoice number that we've got. So now I can just go ahead and process that, and I'm done. So now a little bit about how we deal with batches in payment application or in payment entry, because I'll show you payment entry next. But with batches, we can do batches in a variety of ways. In these demos, I usually do a payment per batch, but most of our customers want to be able to do, say, a daily batch. And so they'll start feeding in payments, and we'll start applying it to a daily batch. So what we do is we look, is there a batch that's open right now? If there is, we'll go ahead and use it. If there's not, we'll create a new batch, and then we'll use that. And we can also split payments up into different things based on the payment type. So say you want to have American Express put on one batch, and you want Visa, MasterCard, Discover on a second batch, and then on a third batch, maybe you want your ACH payments. So we can do that type of thing, and it can be highly customized depending on how you want to go ahead and deal with your payments. So now if I go into my customer maintenance, I think this is for customer C300, and I look at my include, there's my $12.93 payment. So it's just as simple as that. A customer gets a link, they don't need a login, they make a payment automatically goes back into SL, and you can process it the way you normally process it. So that's one way that we can go ahead and easily give the ability for an AR person to be able to send out a link from SL. And this type of link could be on any page. In this case, I put an invoice and memo, but say you wanted to go ahead and create a deposit against, say, a shipper or a service call. You could easily just do a very similar thing like that and put a button on, say, a service call page, and be able to click that out, note how much you want to collect, and it'll just send out a link to the user. Then the customer goes ahead and pays that amount, and then it automatically could come back in as a payment entry if you don't have an invoice to go against. So that's one way to do it. We have another way. Let me close this payment page, and you can see I also got a payment receipt back while I was jibber jabbering chatting. But basically, this is also a very customizable page. We can make it look any way you want. I've just got the facts shown out here, where I'm showing the different name and value that came back. But this can go ahead and say, thank you very much, blah, 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 with your logos and your verbiage and however you want this formatted. So it makes it very easy for you to be able to customize things. So another way to be able to send out payment requests is we have an admin page that you can use that would allow you to be able to do pretty much anything you want. So if I look, let me go back into SL real quick. And I've got another invoice here. Let's see, I think it's 6-4. So you can see I've got this here for repair work because it's a broken vase. And there's a handful of line items on that. I could go ahead and send out a quick collect, but there's multiple ways to do this. So I could go ahead and enter in the information here for, I think it was 01446, put in a customer order number, put in the email address that you want. We could pull it automatically from the customer. And then here's gateway account. We can go ahead and send out a payment request based on all kinds of things, different types of payment gateways, processors, or whatever. In this case, I've just got one for SL Pay. Then let me put in a subject line here. Now, there's other things, like I said, everything is very customizable. We also can have custom properties. You can have unlimited number of these, and these are basically ways to inject additional information into the email as well as the payment page. So, I'll show you how that actually is showing once I do this. So I'm just putting in just a late notice that can be custom for every single link that you send out there. You could customize the verbiage, whatever you want to be able to do, and create some additional here. I can also go and send out attachments as well. So say this is going to be for a service call. This is for a repair. I've got, where's my in? I'll just go ahead and choose it. I can't find it on my, and here's a work order. And so I've got basically a work order attachment that I'm going to attach to it. And I can then just add this request. So basically I'm going to be creating a payment entry for an invoice with a subject line and all this. So this is just showing yet again another way to be able to send out a payment request. Oops, I must have put in some wrong information here. Oh, it's CT. Is that it? Yep. So I put in the wrong customer ID, but this is just a way to manually send one out. I'll show you how we can automatically do it as well. So let me go back into my, it's already here. So as I had mentioned, we've got a way to inject additional information for each individual payment request. So I've just gone and put a custom text here. I put in some additional text here. I can now go ahead and make that payment. Again, this is all customizable as well. And then I can go ahead and pay this. And this basically works the same way as the other does, and I just want to show you basically how that is. And again, this is for a different customer, so it's pulling different information that allows you to be able to do your level 2 and level 3. It also has multiple credit cards stored against it, so you can do a whole lot of different things based on this. Another way that you can send out is you can send out a payment application. So say you wanted to be able to just send out a payment application request, I'm sorry, a payment entry request for a customer so that you can get a deposit for, say you're going to do a service call, you're going to install something or you're going to go ahead and repair, say, an HVAC system, and you want to be able to get some kind of down payment up front before you actually do the work. So this is just one way to do that. And we can do this from a screen. We can do this from a stored procedure. And we just go ahead and do that. And as my machine is waking up, there we go. Oh, okay, it went out, I believe. And there it is. So now I can go ahead and actually make a payment just for an amount that is not tied to an invoice or anything like that, and it will make a payment entry as opposed to a payment application. So it knows my customer ID, so it can go ahead and automatically know which wallet I want to deal with, and I can process that transaction. And once that's done, it will go ahead and make that payment. And once there it goes. So now I have a $12.95 payment entry, and I can look in SL. And there's my $12.95 is there already. So I don't have to worry about any kind of batching and waiting for it to show up. It's there automatically. So if you've got a guy that's on site that needs to be able to take a deposit right away, they could have a mobile app that could then go ahead and request this amount, and the customer can go ahead and quickly pay it. Now, there are many ways to go ahead and send out these payment requests, and another way to do it is via a stored procedure. So now this gets into a little bit more customization, where we can help you set this up, or the folks at SIS certainly can set this up so that you can automatically send out payment requests whenever you want. So the tech folks that are on the call here probably know how to write stored procedures, but all you need to do is make a custom call to one of our stored procedures, and we can then go and send out a payment request just through a stored procedure. And the payment email list is a comma delimited list. And so this is the minimum information that you would need to be able to send a payment request for an invoice. You need the batch number, the ref number or the invoice number, and the customer ID, and who you're going to be sending it to. And this will go and automatically pick up an email template, the default email template, and go and use that. You could also pass a different email template in these parameters to be able to go ahead and make it happen. But then all you need to do is execute it, and then it should show up in my email. Where's my, nope, there it is. Nope, that's my receipt. But it would show up in my email automatically, and be able to get that pulled from a stored procedure. So it makes it very easily to go ahead and add your own custom ways to send out links. Now, I mentioned how that was one of the simplest ways to send a payment request via stored procedure, but I can also do a very complex one. And this is a little bit more complex. I'm not going to run this just because it's a bit more complex, but the thing is that you can see all the information that we're sitting in here. Like, you can override the subject, you can go ahead and override the message, you can go and do all of your different parameters, like the late notice, but these are all unlimited that you can deal with, who you're going to send it to, and then I even have a way that I can send out the the actual attachments if you wanted to be able to attach and do this all from a stored procedure. So it just makes things very easy for a developer that wants to be able to give you additional customizations to be able to send out payment requests through through just SQL Server and sending it out. So this is a short and sweet type of demo because it is very easy to use, and there isn't a lot of there really isn't a lot of difficulty in implementing this type of thing. Basically, again, what this is about is it's about to be able to get a way for your customers to pay quicker through a simple link that you can send out from a screen, from an administrative portal, or through automatically through some kind of stored procedure, so that your customer, all they have to do is click on it, pay, don't need a password or anything like that, and then it's automatically flows back into SL so that you can get that payment quicker and be able to go and process whatever you need to do after you capture that. So I think that's basically what my demo is, and I think we're up for questions. So if anybody has any questions, feel free.
Thanks, Brian. I see a few questions have come in. The first one is,
Okay.
is there a way to send the statement and allow the customer to pay multiple invoices at once?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yes, we do have that. We released that, gosh, before Christmas. And yeah, we can go ahead and send out a statement. And first of all, with the attachments, we can generate a statement based on whatever you want to be able to do, whatever kind of criteria you want to be able to go ahead and send out, payments and invoices and all that stuff. And we can attach it as a PDF. We can also go ahead and include it in the email body if you want. And we can send out a link that is pay for one or more invoices. And so basically you can comma delimit those invoices that you want to go ahead and send out. The thing is with right now with Quick Collect, the only way they can pay is pay in full. We don't have a way for them to pay partial yet. In our Account Central product, which is a full-on payment portal with login, they could do partial payment, apply credit memos, all that type of stuff. But in Quick Collect, it's down and dirty. You can send one or more invoices, but they have to pay for all of it in one shot.
Another question about Quick Collect. You showed it at batch level. Does that mean it's going to be sent to all customers and invoices within that batch?
No, you do a batch plus an invoice or list of invoices that you want, and you have a customer ID that you tie to it. So each link that goes out is specific to a customer and a list of invoices. We just need to have the batch number to distinguish the invoice from other batches if there's any kind of duplication of invoice numbers. So no, it's not going to go out to all customers with a single link, but you can send out a different link if you wanted all the invoices for a particular batch to go out to all the customers, we would generate separate links for each customer.
Okay. And the next question is did you say there was an ability to process bank information versus credit cards?
Yeah, it's called eCheck, which is basically the same thing as ACH, and they're basically on the payment page. When you sign up for payment processing, there's multiple types of payment processing that we can do. One of them is credit cards. The other one is eCheck. And so if that's turned on, that then is an option on that payment page where they can choose one or the other. And if if they choose to do e-check, then they'd be able to enter in bank information, and that bank information is then saved, or they can choose to save it in like a wallet, or they can just choose to enter it in each time, but then they'd be able to pay with bank information, so an e-check.
Okay. Another question that we have is, can I take international payments?
You can, and that also depends on how we get set up for the payment processor. But yeah, you can take international payments. Some countries may not be available, but we'd have to go ahead and do that on a customer by customer basis, or not a customer by customer basis, but a merchant by merchant basis, to make sure what kind of international customers you can take money for.
Okay. I think that's all the questions that we've had come in. Oh, there's another one. Does the system automatically store the credit card info, or does the customer choose to store it?
Customer chooses. Like me, I don't store my credit card anywhere except for certain places, and I don't want to go ahead and have my credit card everywhere. So most of the time, me personally, I don't do it. But there is a checkbox on the payment page that allows the customer to decide whether they want to save it or not. And if they save it, they can also choose whether they want to use it as a default, so it always pops up at the top. And if they don't, then it won't be saved.
Okay. Does the batch status dictate when Quick Connect is sent out? For example, could you send the payment request on a batch that is on hold?
That's a good question. Well, that's a good one. Well, we can do anything you want, really, but that's the end answer. But we could go ahead and force it not to be allowed to do it if you didn't want it to. I'm just not sure what would happen if we allowed it and customer clicked on the payment and we get the payment. What I'm assuming is we'll get the payment and it's still all on hold. But yeah, that's a good question. But we certainly could go ahead and configure it so that it would not send out links or accept payments if you don't want it to.
Okay. These were great questions. If you think of any others after we get off this webinar, please email myself or Brian or Debbie, and we'll make sure we get those answered for you. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today for this webinar. And with that, we will close it out, and want to thank you for joining us today.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.